Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Henry and Susan, and we are here on another live. And today we're going to be talking about the start, the finish to solar panel cleaning, what you guys should know, what you should expect, pricing. We want to talk about all that. Are you comfortable?
No,
No, let's get
no.
let's get comfortable. All right. So, welcome again to another live. And we when we do these lives, we try to give you as much information as possible when it comes down to that. So, today, one of our subscribers, basically longtime subscribers, had mentioned the fact that we should be bringing up,
How
you
to
know,
start up
how
when you begin
how to
your
start.
the process of when you go to one of your job sites.
Correct.
Mm.
So, that is something that we haven't even done before. So I think that might be a good way to start this out. And Susan's going to be um, in this a lot. If you guys have questions and you want to ask any type of questions, feel free to
Um,
put it in the chat, and then that way we see it. We can read your question and give you an answer on the air. We are
I
live.
I
Go
think we
ahead.
should answer them as we go because we're kind of repeat ourselves quite a bit. So sometimes if I see a question, I'll
Well,
say the
I
question and
don't.
then you can answer it right there and then because we repeat ourselves quite a
Well,
bit.
if we're on a specific subject, I don't want to change subject. So so I'll let you kind of figure that out and go from there.
They're not new shirts. We've had these for a while.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't.
I wanted to wear Baby Yoda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda can go on another podcast,
Hmm.
like I said.
Yeah.
All right, guys. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about. We're talking to you customers, and also we're talking to the solar panel cleaners out there. We are the largest solar panel cleaning channel on YouTube, with over 25,000 subscribers, over 6 million views now. So, it's a great channel to learn from. If you're getting into the solar industry, not only that, if you are a homeowner and you own solar panels, so you can learn a lot from us there. And so we want to talk about the process, what we look for, what a customer should look for as far as equipment, pricing, start to finish. It was funny because today we had a customer, or somebody called us today.
Oh yeah. And then he wanted to get a quote for cleaning his solar panels, and we gave him a price, and he basically was going to call around other people but he was asking a lot of questions like, what do we use to clean the panels? How long does it take? Just specific questions. And Henry thinks it was somebody that was fishing
Well,
for.
okay, so when I say that and when she says that, there are certain things that we look for. Okay. We can give somebody the best price possible. We can go as low as possible. But if they don't bite and they said, they go, well, I'm going to call around and just check around, we kind of know it could be either one or two things. Somebody brand new into the business trying to figure out our prices, or competitors. And so there are certain things that I will ask a customer. There are certain things that Susan will ask a customer, and I can figure it out fairly quickly by the type of questions they're asking and how they're asking. For example,
Oh, well, sometimes customers do ask these questions, and they're real customers, because I've had that where I thought they were fishing, but then they ended up being a real customer. So it's happened before.
We're not saying it's all. We're not saying every single person is our competitor. We're not saying that. What we're saying is there are certain type of questions that I already know. You know, like for example, we gave them a really good price today and what have you. But what caught me was he had asked me a question twice when I told him that it was only going to take me about 15 to 20 minutes cleaning 30 solar panels. And he says, "How long will it take you to clean these solar panels?" And I specifically told him, I said, it usually takes us about 15 to 20 minutes, and I'll go over them about 4 or 5 times, especially if you haven't had them cleaned. He said he hadn't had them cleaned in 2 years, over 2 years. So I already know that I got to go through the process and clean the solar panels many, many times just to get them to brand new. And I think he was looking for the price that we gave him for, and he's kind of trying to figure out, oh, well, they're going to charge us this much, and it's only going to be 15 to 20 minutes. That's it, you know?
Well, I think
And
they expect people to be up on your roof for an hour. Now that's fine and dandy that you want somebody to be up there that long, but it doesn't mean that the person that's cleaning them less time is not doing a good job cleaning your solar
no, no, no,
panels.
no. Here's the difference. The difference
Mm.
is when you have the right equipment, you don't need to be up there that long.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
wasting water at that point.
I'm just saying as a customer.
Right, but this is where you have to sit there and explain it to them. Look,
Mhm.
we have equipment that's thousands of dollars specifically made to clean solar panels. And when you tell them that and say, look, this costs us a lot of money. We didn't go to Home Depot, go pick up a mop and a broom and put, you know, some water and attachments to it and call it a, you know, a water fed pole and brush. No.
It's pretty sad that some customers, even though you do have the right equipment, sometimes they don't even care what equipment you have as long as your panels are clean.
Well, here's the difference, and I kind of put this in the title itself. Is when somebody uses cheap equipment, it's going to show. It's actually going to cost the customer more money by using the cheaper equipment, because most of the time the solar panels will be probably either scratched,
Yeah.
the glass is scratched, or dirt will come back within a week. So it's done. They didn't really do a good job. Maybe they went over it one time. And so when I talk to a customer, I reassure them that we have the right equipment, the equipment that is specifically made to clean solar panels. And the reason why I go over them 4 to 5 times, because I don't want them to feel like they're not getting their money's worth. Now, if I go out there and I clean them 4 or 5 times, I already know these things are brand new, spotless. There's no problems with them whatsoever. That's my satisfaction when I go out there and I leave the job. And that's, you know, and for us, it's easy. I can do 900 solar panels in one day. So 30 panels, 35 panels, 40 panels is really not a whole lot. Um, and so there are things that we look out for when they do ask these type of questions. And even when we
Well, even as a customer, I'm just looking at from a customer's perspective. They want the cheapest, so they're not really even they're. So a lot of times they're not even home, so they don't know what equipment you have to clean their solar panels. As long as they're clean, they're clean. So as a customer, you know, thinking of it that way. And yeah, we use the best equipment out there, but sometimes there's customers that you can tell them what kind of equipment you have,
All right.
and
So
they don't even
let me ask
they
you
don't
this.
even see it.
Let me ask you this question. What do you tell your customers to reassure them that we have the right
For
equipment?
me, for our company, we tell them that we have the right equipment, that we have the rotating brush that cleans 900 panels in a day. We don't have a window cleaning brush that could scratch your panels because of the harder bristles, or it
Softer
doesn't.
bristles.
The window cleaning brush can leave streaks on your solar panels as opposed to the rotating brush.
Right. If there's not enough water, it's gonna. You notice there's a lot of guys out here. They'll spray down the solar panels with water and use a water-fed pole because their brush is not supplying enough water for the panels. So they want to make sure it's nice and clean, which there's nothing wrong with it. They're just adding more water. I see guys out there using a hose that is hard water and they're spraying it on there and they're cleaning it on some of these videos. And it's just like, wow. And, if a guy's up there an hour and a half and he's cleaning them, okay, great. He may be doing a good job. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know
But
that.
but for us, we go out there and we use deionized water. We don't use any chemicals whatsoever. Okay. And
But the
we
things we look out for, like for Henry, when he goes up there on the roof, he inspects the roof to see if there's any broken tiles, if there's any broken panels, if there's any burnt panels, if there's any spider veins on the solar panels themselves, if there's loose wiring. Um, that's what he looks out for, and any bird poop or anything.
That will create
that
hot
would create the
spots
hot
and
spots, yeah.
and what have you. We got to get those cleaned off anyway. All right,
Yeah.
so let's start from the beginning. Okay, so we get the phone call, and somebody calls us for pricing and what have you. What type of questions do you ask the customer when they're actually calling you? So
I make it very simple, because the longer, for me, I try not to keep them on the phone too long, because then I might start to lose them. So I try to make it short and sweet and get the information up front. How many panels do you have? Is it a 1-story home? Is it a 2-story home? And what city are you in? Those are the 3 main uh, questions that I ask of the customer.
okay, so when you do that and say they go, okay, let's go for it. Let's go ahead and I'm the customer and I sit there and I go, well, do you guys use deionized water?
And I say, yes, we do. We use nothing but deionized water, and it's
Okay.
the same type of water that we use when, like a car wash, the same spot-free rinse.
Right.
water.
And what's the reason why we're using deionized water?
Because it keeps the panels
Cleaner,
and if you
spot
use,
free.
it's a spot-free rinse, and if you use hose water, if you're just spraying it with hose and water, it could leave calcium spots.
Right.
on the
Hard
panels.
water spots, what have you, because we want to make sure that we have 0 parts per million when it's leaving that brush, so it hits the panels and it is actually very clean water. So when you get all the dirt off and what have you, there's nothing left but clean water.
There's times when the customer will ask me, I don't know, I asked them, how many panels do you have? And they said that they don't know how many. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, if they don't know, are they fishing for pricing? But then I ask them for their address. Now, if I hear a little hesitation, then I know that they're fishing. But if they really don't, if they give me their address, I look it up really quick on Google as I have them on the phone, so I could see what type of roof it is.
Because is that important? The roof itself?
Not necessarily if it's Spanish tile or composite roof. It's a matter of if we can get how steep, if we can get a second ladder up on the second roof, or do we have to use a taller ladder?
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I look on Google to see
So when we are actually using, we go up there to clean Spanish tile, their clay tiles, those tiles, and then the flat composite tiles could really, really scratch. I'm sorry, damage. If you walk on them the wrong way, you can break them and what have you. So there are questions that a customer will ask, like, what do you charge per panel?
We don't, and I tell them we don't charge per panel. We charge a flat rate.
So if there's 60 panels or 30 panels, it's the same price?
Yes. Now, sometimes we do charge a little bit more if it's a lot. In some cases,
I would
we
say
do.
over 60 panels, we are charging more money just because we're up there a little bit longer.
Mhm.
And we already know that a person who charges per panel, and the price around there is charging per panel, you're looking in the neighborhood of $10 per panel
And we're using more deionized water.
to $12 per panel. So, that's the ballpark that these guys are charging now. You may get some that are maybe $7, $8 per panel, and then you get some that are really, really cheap because they don't have insurance, they don't have the right equipment, they don't have, they just want to get in and get out. But with the prices going up now, and everything going up, it's almost impossible for these guys to sustain that cost throughout all of summer.
And I tell them if again they don't know how many panels they have, and if it doesn't show on Google Earth, I always ask them if they can send me the diagram of, there's a red sticker on the side of where the Edison meter is. If they can send me that picture, that way, or they can usually count the number of squares on that diagram.
Right. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, any home here in California, pretty much there is a red sticker. There's a red sticker that is put on the side of the home next to your electric meter, and you can count the number of little squares that are simulated as the panel layout, and that's located on usually on the fuse box itself. So when you go to the side and we say, hey, can you take a look at this little red diagram, tell me how many you have, a lot of times a customer will do that and go out there and give us the exact information. So we're not surprised when we go out there and clean solar panels, because we have people that have told us they have 20 solar panels and to find out they had like 36. So it makes a big difference when it comes to that, because you know that you're going to be spending more time up there, and all that. So
yeah, but I mean, everybody has their way of asking the customer, when they get a quote, what kind of questions you ask. But for me, I ask those three main questions.
All right. So they booked the job. So what happens after they book the job? What do you do?
After I book the job, I put them in our House Call Pro
System.
scheduling system. I
Okay.
put all their information, their name, their address, their email, phone number, and then I jot down how many panels they have. And then after the job is done, then I can I get the payment. I collect payment. Now sometimes we collect through Zelle, and with Zelle, I just send them the Zelle information once the job is complete, and then they send it over to us automatically.
All right, you're getting way ahead of yourself, because I still got to go through what I do. So,
oh yeah, then Henry comes down. Yeah, well, Henry goes up there.
All right,
He does the before and after pictures.
Let me say what I do. Okay, so I go up there and I get the ladder. I get there. I get up there. I get the ladder. We get everything taken care of. So Susan pretty much is getting the brush out, getting the pole out, taking the hose and getting the hose and stretching it out, getting it ready for me. I set the ladder up, put the ladder safety device
Mhm.
on it, so when I get up there.
And then Henry goes up there
Mhm.
and he inspects the roof.
What part of the roof do I inspect?
You inspect the whole, like the one-story house. You inspect the whole roof. Even on the second level, he inspects the first level and the second level to see if there's any
Broken tiles
broken tiles.
before I do any work whatsoever.
Yeah, because at least we let the customer know, because in case they come out and say, "Oh well, you broke one of our tiles," because
Yeah.
sometimes they forget to tell us that they had somebody else that came up on their roof.
And a lot of times too, I'll find out that there are a lot of broken tiles before we even start work. So I will take pictures of those.
Mhm.
I will send them down to Susan. She will go and show the customer
Mhm.
before I even start work. At the same time, what I'm doing is I'm inspecting the wiring underneath. I'm checking for nests to make sure that there's no birds underneath there at all, no loose clips.
Any broken panels, any sometimes we found golf ball that broke the glass of the solar panels,
Any shattered
any
glass, what
shattered
have you,
glass, any
bullet
hot
holes,
spots,
hot spots.
calcium buildup.
Well, that is just for me,
Mhm.
calcium buildup and the bird poop and all that. So I can say, okay, I need to go over this how many times.
So then Henry cleans, and then he goes about cleaning the solar panels.
Right. So now I'm using my brush to go out there and clean the solar panels, and I go over it 3 to 4 times. And I always ask Susan, when was the last time that they have cleaned the solar panels? And if she turns around and says, well, it's been 2 years or 3 years, I'm automatically going to go out there and clean these panels numerous times just to get all the dirt off, the top layer off, get all that, and then we go from there.
And then once he's done, then he actually, what Henry does is, once he's like, let's say there's 3 arrays, for example, on the home. Once he's done cleaning one array, he'll stop. He'll turn off his
Equipment,
brush,
yeah.
and then he'll take. Actually, before all that, he takes before pictures of the panels when they're dirty.
Right.
And then after he's done with one section of the panels, he'll take the after pictures.
Right.
And then he'll move on to the second array.
Right.
And then once he's done cleaning the second array, then he'll stop and take pictures of the second array. And then
Yeah. And the reason why I do that is because I don't forget. Sometimes when you're done, you're like, okay, I want to get off this roof. It's hot up here. So what I'll do is I'll take these pictures. I take them when they're nice and wet. They're clean. They look beautiful, brand new. Then I move on to the next array and get that taken care of. And then I'll go on to the next array.
And then what do you do when you're all done?
So when we're all done, everything is done. I take those pictures, they're all done. We'll go ahead and I'll take that equipment, I'll pass that down to Susan. She'll go ahead and get that taken care of. We'll disconnect everything. We put everything back in the van. And that's when she will go out to the customer and collect payment. Now, let's talk about payments as far as what we do as far as our company.
Our company, we take Zelle, check, cash, or credit card. If there's credit card fees, we do let the customer know that there is a fee on top of what I quoted them. And then that way they can decide whether they want to pay by credit card. And most of the time they say no, they don't want to pay by credit card. So they say, oh, do you take Zelle? Yes, we take Zelle. So majority of our customers do pay by Zelle now.
Yes, and because if we throw a fee on there from the credit cards, most of the company customers are going to go out there and just pay by Zelle and get that, and there's no fees for that. So we would rather have it that way because it instantly goes into our bank account and gets taken care of from there.
And a lot of times when we arrive at their house, if they're not home, I ring the doorbell, their ring. At least they know that we're there at their house. Even if they have cameras, they could see that we're there.
Right.
That
right.
way they can come and say, "Oh, nobody showed up." Well, yes, I did. If you look on your camera.
And then you also text them too and let them know because that's
I text them or I call.
Yeah, one or the other.
But our House Call Pro, it notifies them that we're on our way, and then we can message them back and forth on our House Call Pro
Right,
service.
right.
Mhm.
All right. So that is good. That's done.
Mhm.
We took care of the
And we
customer,
go on to the next one.
and we go on to the next one.
Mhm.
95.
Turbo says, Henry, what is your mind frame on your train of thought as you're driving to the client's home? What are things you think about? I think about when is the next one?
What's the next job? That's what I think about. Get done with this one and on to the next one.
Especially when it's hot.
Because I'll sit there and I'll ask her, hey, how many jobs do we have today? And she says 4 or 5 or 6. I know I'm dealing with 4 or 5 or 6.
Mhm.
So when I'm up on that roof and then she's talking to somebody else, and then she turns around and tells me, we have another job. The neighbor wants it done. And guess what? Now it's number 7. So
I'll ask him before, like if the customer is standing on the sidewalk and he's asking me, can you clean them now? If it's pretty reasonable time of day, if we've only had maybe 3 or 4, and I'll ask Henry first, hey, this customer wants them cleaned. They're just right around the corner.
yeah,
He's a little hesitant, but I'm like, you know what? We're here already.
it's not hesitant. It's just I'm sitting here going, okay, I don't want to be late to the next customer.
No,
And
this is when we're pretty much done. And
no, it does never works that
yes,
way.
it
No,
does. Yes, it does. It does. I'll ask him first because I don't want him being burnt out from the heat, especially. But I'll ask him, and a lot of times I want us to get it done. That way, we don't have to worry about coming back to that area if we're already there.
Right. 95 Turbo Civic has a great question.
We give receipt.
No, right here, right here.
Oh,
This one.
what is your emergency plan in a worst case scenario? As far as what?
Okay, so
Well, let's ask him as far as what emergency plan.
I already think I know
Well, let him
where
know.
he's going.
Let
That's
him-
fine. On to the next question then.
When you collect the payment, do you leave a receipt for tax purposes? Our House Call Pro system is electronic, so we send it automatically to their phone or to their email. We don't do paper receipts anymore.
We never do paper receipts
Mm-mm.
just because we already know everything's electronic. We can send them a text message with the receipt, or we can send them through email, and it gets done that way. So
he says the worst of fall when you fall if you fall.
So 95 Turbo Civic says the worst
A fall,
of fall, God forbid. So this is the reason why we have.
Or say if you feel a shock from the solar panel.
Well, I go out there and I do things that I've been working with solar for almost 8 years now, and I've been working with electricity for a lot longer than that.
So he's asking what happens in an emergency.
All right.
In case you're up on the roof and you fall, what do I do?
Well, I want to bring this up because this is a very, very good point. And the reason why I always say to have 2 people on the job at all times, whether it's heat stroke, whether it's shock, whether it's electrocution, whether it's you passing out, it doesn't matter. Anything could happen. This is why we have 2 people on the job. Susan is always on the bottom watching me. Trust me. She watches me from the backyard, from the front yard, and she's watching me because you never know. I might get lightheaded or something and pass out. Who knows? We never know what's going to happen.
From the bottom, I could kind of see if Henry is acting a little different than normal, especially with the heat. So I'll ask him, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?"
Right.
He'll nod his head. But in answer to your question,
what would you do?
Will I do? If he slips on the roof, I'll ask him if he's okay. That way I know if he's able to communicate with me. If he's not able to communicate me, if I'm able to get up on the roof, I will go up there and I will check on him. If there's something out of the ordinary, my next thing would be to probably call 911.
Yeah, I mean, that'd probably be the best thing to do.
Because I don't want to take him off the roof in case there's something internally wrong with him, or physically wrong with him. I don't want anything to happen to him. So my next thing would be to call 911.
And this is what we talk about all the time, guys. We talk about this all the time, to where you should have at least two people solar panel cleaning, and make sure that that other person is okay. Not only that, is you don't want to be have one person working by themselves, because they got to deal with the engine down on the bottom, start that up, go up top, or if they're using a water fed pole,
Now, let me ask you something.
yeah.
What if the roles are reversed? What if you're up there, you're doing your thing, and something happens to me on the bottom, on the ground?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stop what I'm doing, and I'm going to go down that ladder, and I'm going to run over there and find out what's happening, and ask you if what's going on. Are you okay? If something is not right, well, it's always just to make sure, call 911. Okay, get them out there, have it checked out, what have you. It doesn't matter whether it's me or her or anybody else. Um, Unless you're a trained professional and you're EMT status and you know what you're doing, fine. But at the same time, it's like you can always call your next customers and say, hey, we're not making it. We had an emergency, and reschedule. You can always do that. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. So the whole point is going out there, cleaning them, getting down safely, and getting to your next job or getting home in one piece. Okay. It's no different. If you feel like something is off or you're not feeling good, by all means, cancel the rest of the jobs and get yourself checked out, and make sure that you're okay. You're no good if you're hurt or you're not physically able to finish the job. You're no good at all. So always make sure. There's guys out here that use walkie talkies because they can't see each other. Maybe on a 2-story home, they have walkie talkies that they talk and what have you. But if I gave her a walkie talkie, she would be talking on that thing forever, and I would never get the work done. So
that is why I always ask, if the customer's getting home, I ask them if I can go into their backyard.
Right.
Because it gives me a chance to see that he's okay up there.
Peace of mind. Anyway.
Peace of mind.
All right. So we answered that. That has been pretty good. And then, we go to the next job and what have you. And then we continue on with our day. Now, I want to talk about equipment. And this is very, very important, because this is where pricing comes in, right? You get guys out here that will price really, really cheap, but they have a lot of cheap equipment. So the guys that usually price more are usually fully insured. They have full insurance. They have the right equipment. That's one of the things, is having the right equipment to clean solar panels. There's a lot of you guys out here that don't have the right equipment. I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to point fingers, but as a customer, that's the first thing that you should be looking at. How long are these guys going to be up on your roof? How long does it take them? It's not a bad thing if somebody's up there 15 and 20 minutes and has the right equipment. That's not a bad thing at all. After that point, I always tell people I'm wasting water after that, because they're clean. These things are spotless. They're clean. If somebody comes in and says, well, we're going to squeegee off your solar panels, probably not the best thing to do. And they probably don't know what they're doing, because the sun will actually dry your solar panels right after you're done or during the process. You will start to see these solar panels heat up and do their job. There's no point of using a microfiber towel or anything else like that to dry solar panels. You are basically scratching the glass. That's not what you want to do. Let these things dry on their own, because if they dry on their own, then what's going to happen is your job is done. You won't, and if you're using deionized water, it's a spot-free rinse. There is no spots on these panels. Okay, if you miss a spot, you will see it. If I'm human, I go out there and I miss spots sometimes, and I have to tell Susan, "Hey,
How does
start
it
it
look?
back up. I missed the spot right here, and then I got to hit it."
Sometimes I can see it from the bottom,
And that's
and I'll
another
point it
thing,
out to him and say, "Oh, there's a spot. You missed a spot right here."
right?
Mm.
And so this is why we go over it 4 or 5 times. If you got somebody that's got really cheap equipment and they go over it only one time, how do you know as a customer? How do you know they did a good job? How do you know that? You can't get up on the roof. You can't see exactly what they're seeing. This is why pictures are very important.
Mhm.
Before pictures and after pictures. I would take pictures from afar, mid range, and super, super close where you can see the cells on these solar panels and see the glass and how beautiful these things look.
And I sometimes take pictures of Henry from the bottom, just in case somebody says, "Oh, no, you weren't up there cleaning the solar panels." Oh, yes, he was, because I have a picture of him cleaning them.
Yeah,
So that's happened before.
right.
So,
Um,
oh,
somebody had a question. What?
Aor 5630. What is the steepest incline that you would recommend that you could safely work on? What if the incline is too steep? What do you do? A lot of times, if it's very steep, we either charge more.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we told the customer that we cannot do it,
Mm-hmm.
or we clean them from the bottom.
If
Clean
we
solar
can,
panels,
if
we
we
can clean
can,
them from the bottom.
if we can reach them that way.
Right.
Now, look, it's all about your safety.
Mhm.
You have to be safe out there.
Mhm.
If you have an incline that's 35, 30%, it's pretty steep and you just slide down, when it's wet, it's going to be even worse.
We do not use the C1000 when we're cleaning from the bottom.
No, it's just too heavy. It's just too heavy of a brush. I'll use the Solitech brush, which is a super light brush. But in order to do that, okay, to answer your question, there are things called like pitch hoppers, right? The pitch hopper you can actually put on the roof and you can stand on those and you can clean those. Now, if you have an incline and the roof looks exactly like this, where you have no room, you have 1 foot on this side, 1 foot on this side, well, your ankles are pretty much going to be in. I don't suggest doing that at all, because you can do damage to the roof if you step on the peak of the roof, and that a customer would never know until after it rains and all of a sudden they got leaks in their roof.
And that's very dangerous.
And this is where experience comes in, guys. This is where you have to make that intelligent decision whether you are going to do this job or not.
And it's okay if you tell the customer that you can't do it. There's nothing wrong with it. We've done it before.
There's guys out here that are using water-fed poles and stretching it out 30 feet, 35 feet, and they're cleaning from the bottom just to clean the solar panels. You can do that, but how accurate are you as far as inspecting your solar? Ask yourself that question. Can you see the broken glass on the very, very top? Do you know that the glass was shattered? So
Turbo Civic says you'll have to weigh out safety over reward, honestly.
Safety over reward, right? Safety first, okay? I don't care what anybody says, safety first. There's guys out here that have safety courses and they teach you that. That's all fine. You can, if you feel that you need to take a course, then take it. That's on you.
Out of peace of mind.
Out of peace of mind. I've never taken a safety course for solar when it comes to that, because I'm well experienced. I climbed poles 28 feet, 35 feet for the cable company for 28 years. So I had to go up a pole with no harness just to qualify, and then on top of the roof or inside the attic So I'm well experienced. I know exactly what to look out for. I know high voltage lines. I know what to look out for when it comes out to high voltage lines or telephone lines that are running DC voltage. So, you know, you can go out there and you can get certified. If I'm going to get certified, I'm getting certified through OSHA. Okay. That's the only
Mhm.
place that I'm getting certified. Because if I got an OSHA certificate, that covers me throughout the whole state of California,
Mhm.
and it's recognized by companies throughout the state of California.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any other course from a company that's not even recognized here in the United States or in California for that matter, because I don't need to. I really don't. That right there will probably go on the wall and stay right there, but that's not going to get you more jobs. It isn't. You got to have common sense. Common sense is going to tell you everything. If you have common sense, you can do solar panel cleaning. Come on, let's be real. This is an unregulated industry, unregulated. Anybody can come in and do this. An 18-year-old kid could come in, buy equipment, and do this. Anybody can do this. It's not regulated. It's common sense. Now, if you fall off a customer's roof and you hurt yourself, guess what's going to happen? Homeowner, be ready to be sued. Be sued by that solar guy because that solar guy got hurt. And guess what? He's got to pay his bills. And he didn't have insurance. And it was your fault because you didn't go out there and check his qualifications before you let him on your property or let him on your roof. You didn't know his experience. So there's nobody to blame but yourself as a homeowner. And you have to be really careful who you hire because there's a lot of guys out here that don't have insurance. There's a lot of guys out here that don't have experience. There's a lot of guys out here that don't have the right equipment when it comes to cleaning solar panels. So, homeowner, if you own solar,
Just do
be
your homework.
do your homework. Cheapest is not always the best.
Sometimes you got to think of it as anything that happens to your home, who you're going to call to get things fixed or taken care of. Do your homework, check to see if they're a legit company, check to see if they have all their documentation to show for in case something happens.
Right. So even myself, a person has lots and lots of experience. There's certain things I don't do. Okay. If I can avoid the edge of the roof at all times, I avoid the edge of the roof at all times.
That's why he doesn't do gutter
I
cleaning.
don't do gutter cleaning because of that. I will not clean gutters for you at all because I don't want to be on the edge of the roof. Now, there is equipment out there that you don't even have to go up on the roof to clean gutters. You can do it from the ground. And there's guys out here doing it and using that. Nothing wrong with it. That's fine. I would rather have them do that than me at the edge of the roof at all times. Now, if I see a roof that doesn't look good, it's old and what have you, I'm a little sketchy because most of the time you can either fall through the roof or fall through the rafters and this
Or
almost
crack.
happened to us when we first started. We were doing a garage and all of a sudden it just pushed right in and the homeowner was right there and we got out and we said, you know what, we're not doing this anymore. We ended up paying for it, but we almost fell through the middle of the roof where they did the install on the solar.
This wasn't with me.
No, you weren't with us at the time,
Mm.
but the homeowner was actually watching us as we were going up there, and it wasn't me. It was actually somebody that we hired to go up there and do that. Rick and I were on the bottom, and we were watching him and training him at the same time. And his foot went just knee deep through the roof, and so We're like, hey, we're so sorry. We're not doing this. Your roof is very, very weak. And to find out they needed a whole new roof. So they ended up putting a whole new roof on, not having to worry about it. We gave them a little bit of money. They were fine. But they could have sued us. They could have went out there and took us for everything that we had, um, or used our insurance for that. And so that's a learning lesson that you have to do. Got to be safe out there.
Mhm.
Safe. If you got an electric motor, electric engine, you're putting gas in it, you better have a fire extinguisher close by. One in your van. You got to make sure you have something in case anything happens, or anything for that matter.
The most important thing is arriving to the customer's home safely,
And leaving safely.
leaving from your home and getting to the destination. That is one of the most important things
Right.
to think about when you're when you're heading to the job,
Right.
because there's a lot of out here in LA. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of cars. So you got to be very cautious as far as getting to the homeowners.
Right. So I want to talk about this. I want to talk about the heat. I want to talk about summer. I want to talk about all that,
It's
because
hot.
the hotter it gets, the more expensive it's going to be. The more busier solar panel cleaners are going to be. In the summertime is extremely busy. And as a homeowner, you have to think about this. Expect to pay the highest price possible if it's during our peak season. Don't expect to pay cheap prices.
Mm-mm.
You're not going to get cheap prices in 110-degree weather, 120-degree weather.
When a customer calls, I don't give them the special price. I start off with a high price.
We have to. I'm up there on 110-degree day, and I'm cleaning 6, 7 houses, and by the probably third house,
Mhm.
we're already burnt out because of the heat. The heat will get you.
Mhm.
The heat will get you quicker than anything else. This is where safety
Mhm.
comes in.
Mhm.
Now, don't expect me to sit there and say, I'm going to do your house for $50 to clean solar panels. Not going to happen. Maybe 3 times as much, maybe 4 times, maybe 5 times as much. And you can call somebody else. But if somebody else says, oh, I'll do it for $20, $30, you won't find that guy next year. I promise you that, because he will be out of business so fast. And you know what? When he's up there in 110-degree weather, he's going to tell himself, this is not worth it.
Mhm.
It's not worth it to be cleaning with this equipment.
Now we get that people, when they're starting their business, they can only afford, the equipment that they can afford, and you're going to be spending a lot more time on the roof. We get that, but think of this in the back of your mind as you're starting your business, is to save up. Try to save up a little bit of money at a time, so that you can change your equipment to better yourself in your business, and to be get less time on the roof, because it does make a big difference in the long run. Right.
Yes.
Uh, a or I'm going to call you 5630. I don't want to butcher your name. In your opinion, what is a reasonable startup budget for launching a solar panel cleaning business? Also, what type of vehicle would you recommend for getting started?
All right. That is a great question. If you're going into the solar panel,
Oh, can I stop you there? 5630. Where are you from? If you can let us know.
all right. So if you are starting a solar panel cleaning business, a lot of people go cheap. They want to spend as cheap as possible, because they think that this industry, you can make thousands of dollars. You can. But here's the problem. Competitors. You're going to find out really quick about your competitors. If you start off with cheap equipment, you're going to have to buy more equipment to go out there and keep up with a competitor that has top of the line equipment. That competitor that has top of the line equipment can do industrial, can do solar farms, can do rooftops, can do carports. Ask yourself this question: with the equipment that you have right now, can you do all this? Because this is what's going to happen. When you least expect it, somebody's going to come to you and say, hey, I have a business and I need 5,000 solar panels cleaned. This is where it separates the men from the boys. Okay? This is where our company thrives because we do O&M. Let me explain to you the process and the different levels of solar panel cleaning. You have residential. In residential, you have people who own their solar panels and people who rent
And people who finance.
and finance their solar panels. Okay, those are the two for residential.
For commercial,
we're going to get into commercial. We're going to talk about commercial. Okay, commercial, you have different levels
of people you can talk to.
Right. For example, EPC. Okay, what is that? That's engineering,
procurement, and construction.
Very good. You just said it right out of my. Very, very good. What's the next one?
Operations and maintenance.
O&M.
Mm-hmm.
O&M, where they maintain the solar that particular plant, or say it's a Target or it's a Costco or FedEx or solar farm. You have maintenance guys that will call you and say, hey, can you come and clean our solar panels? That is the best advertisement that you can possibly get, because you're not advertising. These guys are calling you and saying, can you come out and clean? So you want to be friendly with your O&M guys, okay? Because they're going to give you work.
And there's management companies.
What do management companies do?
Management companies are the main people. They could be from out of state, and they are the ones that are in charge of the properties themselves.
So if there is for example, there's a property that has 5,000 solar panels, and you go to the manager over there and you say, hey, I want to clean your solar panels. And the guy says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and give me your card. And they'll get your card. And then they give it to their management company, because these are the guys that are actually
they
oversee everything. They're cleaning, the cost of cleaning. They tell you whether you got the job, that if you put in a bid to the management companies, and then they go out there and they'll accept it, or they won't accept it, or they'll find somebody else.
I guess you could say the corporate.
Yeah, sometimes. You can kind of say yes. So, but anyways, those three right there is what you want to look for industrial, commercial, and you want to really pay really close attention to what we're saying when we go out there and say, it's not just handing a flyer to the business.
Sometimes it can be the facility service manager. Sometimes.
Well, the facility service manager always goes to the management company, just so you know.
Yeah.
The facility manager will say,
he doesn't have a say.
Trust me. We've done carports where we've talked to the facilities manager, and he's like, okay, I will get back to you, put in a bid. But you're not putting in a bid to him. Mm-hmm. You're putting in a bid to the management company. Mm-hmm. Or O&M. Mm-hmm. That's who you're putting it to, the people who make the decisions, or the owners. Mm-hmm. So we had one where we did almost 6,000 solar panels, talked to the facilities manager to find out we were dealing with the owner all the time. Mm-hmm. Remember that one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so he finally made a decision to say, yes, go ahead and get it done. Mm-hmm. And we got it done.
That doesn't happen too often, but it does.
But it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says I can call him Aorty. Okay, Aorty.
Huh?
I can call him
Oh,
Aorty.
aortic. Okay.
He's in the IE near Temecula.
Yeah. So Inland Empire, if you Google solar panel cleaners near me, you're gonna find out you have lots of competition. Lots. Even us.
Mhm.
Because we do go out to Temecula. We cover Riverside, Inland Empire, Orange County, San Diego. We cover a lot of area, and that's because we can. Um, so she just got another call right now, so I'm gonna let her deal with that. But we want to make sure that we go out there and know who our competition is, because when I started this thing, there was no competition whatsoever. Now I can honestly tell you we have over 400 other solar panel cleaners in Los Angeles with cheap equipment, with somewhat okay equipment. Some are uninsured, some are fully insured. There's a handful of them that I know that are legit, that I can say that are legit, and their prices are pretty competitive with ours. Um, so you really have to think about whether you're going to get into this business, because this is a seasonal business
We
for new people.
try not to stop your day job if you have one yet until
Now, yeah, don't quit your day job. If you are planning on making money in the solar panel industry, do not quit your day job, because you're going to need it during the off season. The off season is when it rains, because when it rains, it's going those phone calls are going to stop.
what do you consider the slow period? What months do you think?
It will start slowing down at the end of November to March, and it start picking back up in April. So you literally, we always say this: we can check our bank account in June, July, and August, and they're double digits, and we do really, really well, and we do good, but we survive off of the money that we make during summer for winter. I'm being truthful with you. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. There's guys out here that would disagree with me. They will sit there and say, this is an all year round business. They're either selling you something, I don't know, equipment, robot, whatever it is. They're probably selling you a brush. They're probably selling you something, because they're in sales. They're out there selling you equipment, and they're making money, whether you're cleaning or not. And those are the guys that you say, okay, those are the ones that will sit there and say, oh, yeah, this is an all year round business. It's not. I can prove it to you.
Let's clarify. He's just talking about solar panel cleaning.
Well, that's what I was bringing up. Solar panel cleaning. But other guys would sit there and go, well, you can do window washing, you can do pressure washing, you can do rain gutters.
But those aren't solar panel cleaning.
But that's not our business. If you're getting into the solar industry, look, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're getting into the solar industry, you better have the right equipment. If you have the right equipment, you're going to get commercial calling you and residential calling you without you even looking at them, because they're going to look at your equipment. And if they know that you have good equipment, they're going to call you and ask you to put in a bid. But do not expect to get paid from commercial or industrial for at least 2 months to 3 months, because they don't pay on time. So you better have backup money to cover that. This is why I talk about when somebody starts a solar panel cleaning business, they better have at least $20,000 to $30,000 set aside for that business. I am not joking with you. You're going to have to sit there and pay for your insurance. You're going to have to pay for somebody had mentioned about what type of vehicle you should
Oh,
have.
and you're right.
I have an enclosed vehicle. It is me to sit here and not have to worry about somebody taking anything a vehicle or stealing anything if it's enclosed. A van, what have you, you're better off. In the back of a truck and you got very expensive equipment, you better either cover that up every single night or make sure that you take your equipment out every single night to cover because you pay a lot of money. Now, there's guys out here that are just starting this business. Their kids, they don't have a lot of money. Well, guess what? They're going to be up on that roof a hell of a lot longer than I am. They will be up there 45 minutes to an hour and a half, which would take me maybe 15 minutes to 20 minutes to do, if that. So think about that. And hopefully you guys get something out of this. As the homeowner, you got to make sure that these guys have the right equipment to clean your solar panels because you won't know when the damage is done till after they are long gone.
So Turbo, this kind of explains your question as to what convinces clients the right marketing, getting a wrap on your vehicle is marketing. Why is that?
Well, when you wrap your vehicle like that, we got a lot of phone calls. We can be on the freeway and see people see our number. They could be right behind us calling us and say, "What do you charge for solar panels?" That is the best advertisement you can get. There's guys out here that will get the little A-frames. They'll put them out there while they're cleaning. They'll have the A-frames out there on the front of the vehicle, on the back of the vehicle, saying who they are. QR codes are really really good to have on your truck, on your van. They can scan that, take it straight to your website. Have a very very nice website. If you have a very good website, and people are going to go and they're going to see when I started, the reason why we are so successful today, and I can honestly say the reason why is because we concentrated on two things: solar panel cleaning and window cleaning. Then we added bird proofing. So our services are limited
Window cleaning is exterior for commercial.
for commercial only. We do not do residential. The reason why I decided to do that is because there's a lot more money in commercial cleaning 185 windows every 3 months than going out to a house and clean 16 windows. And we'll leave that to the other guys. See, you pick and choose your business. And if you pick and choose your business, then you could sit there and go, "We are a solar panel cleaning company." And Google will recognize that you are a solar panel cleaning company. You know why? Because all the jobs that you've gone to for solar panel cleaning is all mega tagged. It's all right there. When I take a picture, I'm taking a picture of a building, a house. You want to advertise yourself as best as possible. I'm going to give you guys a little tip, okay? For you solar panel cleaners out there, have your name on your shirts at all times. What happens is if you take a picture of yourself with panels behind you and you got your company name on there, guess what Google does? Google recognizes that name on your shirt, whether it's in the front or in the back, and that will give you more exposure on Google. Anything else? Don't even worry about it. That's where the mega tag comes in on your pictures. Another tip: when you are uploading your pictures, you want to make sure that you rename your pictures to whatever it is. Say you're doing bird proofing. You put on there bird proofing Rancho Cucamonga. So now you have tags on your pictures that when you go to your website and you put them on your website, you are recognized for Rancho Cucamonga and bird proofing. And you uploaded that picture. You got your logo on your shirt, it recognizes you as authority. And that right there, if anybody's going to learn anything, that right there is gold.
And make sure you get insurance on your wrap.
Yes, we talk about this. We've been talking about this because it's a separate type of insurance from the insurance company. So you want to make sure that when you get your insurance from the insurance company, that you wrap your vehicle, but you tell them you're going to insure your vehicle, but you're going to wrap your vehicle. They're going to give you another, I think it's an add-on. I'm not sure exactly, but you have to pay a little bit more, but it covers the
Your wrap.
aftermarket stuff like your vehicle wrap, sometimes your equipment and all that. And I'm not an insurance guy, okay? So, but this is our experience. This is what happened to us.
The wrap is including the insurance because in case there's an accident on your vehicle, you don't have to pay out of pocket to get your vehicle rewrapped.
Like
the
I did.
insurance covers it. I don't know how much because
Yeah, like I did.
but we had to pay out of pocket.
It cost me a little over $1,500 just for the back door. That when we were out in Las Vegas, our workers went out there and got into an accident. And when we came back, we found out the back window was shattered. All that was all wrapped. The whole, and then so when we turned it into the insurance company, the wrap was not included because we did not include that. See, this is where the learning lessons come in. And so we ended up getting the insurance for the wrap after the fact, but it never happened again. So
No.
all right, great questions, guys.
Yeah.
What else here? Okay, you too. Okay, got it.
Just make sure you're being vigilant out there. So when you're out there on the job, make sure, I don't know how you want to, lock up everything on the job because, you have equipment that's exposed.
Right.
You want to make sure that
either somebody's there
to keep an eye on your vehicle because people will tend to want to
they'll take it really fast. There's a lot of people that are really struggling right now and trying to make a quick buck, and they will steal your equipment. So make sure that you don't clean solar panels by yourself. Always make sure there's somebody by your vehicle watching, watching you, making sure that you're okay.
Now, what would you say if somebody's starting out and they are by themselves?
Get a partner. That's what I would say. And look, there's no excuse of you going out there and not getting somebody to help you. If you got to pay them a little extra money, pay them a little extra money to go out there and help you. Say, hey, look, all you are my eyes. Just make sure the gas in the engine doesn't run out. I don't have to keep coming back down and forth, or the filter is clean on my 2-3 stage system, or water's flowing through really, really nice. It could be anything. But always get a partner, always find somebody. This is why Susan and I do every single job together.
Never let the water go all the way down because what could happen to the engine?
You're talking about something totally different. So we have 100-gallon tank, and that 100-gallon tank, it just keeps water in there. But if it goes down and it runs out, it could ruin your pump. It could burn out your pump. That's very expensive. It could be good $500 to $700 to replace the pump itself. Or if the gas runs out, I don't want to be coming down the 2-story roof just to go put gas in, start it back up, and then have to go back up when I have somebody else that can do it for me while I stay up on the roof and do that. But this is where safety and your equipment, you got to make sure that you are well prepared when it comes to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's pretty much it for, I think, for today's podcast. You guys did a great job. Thank you guys for asking the great questions.
Thank you, Turbo, for the suggestion on what to talk about today.
Yes.
And thank you for being first.
Right. And if any of you have any other questions, just put it on. I always will read the comments and all that. So don't worry about it. You know, we go out there and we read everything, the good, the bad, what have you. So, but it is what it is. If you're getting into the solar panel cleaning business, do your homework before you get in. Because right now, Northern California is saturated, Central California is saturated, LA is saturated.
Very.
So think about it. This is an unregulated industry. Anybody can come into this industry and clean solar panels. And for you customers out there, be aware of who you are hiring. The cheapest is not always the best. As a matter of fact, the cheapest can probably cost you money, because if they scratch your glass, if they damage your panels in any way,
they call us and we have to go up and take care of it and fix.
You will never know that this has happened till after they are long gone. And if they're really cheap, you probably won't find them ever again, because they'll be out of business.
You get what you pay for.
Thank you.
Bottom line, you get what you pay for.
Right.
So don't go cheap.
Don't. You don't buy a Maserati and get a guy $100 to wax it for you. You get the guy that's charging $500 because you care about your equipment. As a customer, you guys should be so concerned about your solar. A lot of customers don't know solar panels need to be cleaned. So when they call us, they ask us a lot of questions. And when they do ask us the questions, we give them the correct answers. Now, I always tell people, are you looking for cheapness or are you looking for quality? And if a customer says both, I'm telling you, customer, right now, you're not going to get it. Not in this industry. You're either going to get the cheap price where a guy's going to come in and do it really fast, and a week later, your solar panels are dirty again. They use the wrong equipment, or you're going to get quality. But you're going to pay for quality.
You want good quality work when it comes to doing any solar panel cleaning or bird proofing.
Or anything for that matter. You want your solar panels to last 25 years. You don't want them to last 5 years. We have seen solar out there that we have cleaned that's supposed to last 25 years, and the cells are already burnt out.
And
they're literally brown.
Within
and they were
5 years.
In less than 5 years. And the solar panels are damaged. And guess what? You would never know unless you went up to the roof and looked at them yourself when they were clean. When they're dirty, you will never know, because it has that top layer of film, and that top layer of film will damage your solar panels. I would rather have you have clean solar panels 100% of the time than dirty solar panels 100% of the time, because you're going to get more production out of clean solar panels than you will dirty solar panels.
So, customer, get your solar panels cleaned.
With that being said, guys, you want to close it out?
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining our podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to seeing you on the next podcast on Wednesday.
We'll see you guys in a couple of days. See you guys. Peace. Thank you guys for coming on. See you guys on the next one.